The silence in the emergency room is broken only by the rhythmic, desperate gasping of a patient whose lungs have forgotten how to expand. On the X ray monitor, the delicate, fern like structures of the pulmonary system are not translucent as they should be. Instead, they appear as solid, opaque blocks of gray stone. The patient is not suffering from a virus or a standard infection. They are victims of a geological ambush. Every breath they took during the eruption was a delivery system for microscopic shards of obsidian and crystal. Now, inside the warmth of the human chest, the chemistry of the earth is performing a final, lethal transformation. The lungs are no longer organs of respiration. They are becoming a solid internal cast of volcanic debris. Nature possesses a dual identity, functioning both as a cradle for life and a laboratory for destruction. Among the most feared of its phenomena is the volcanic eruption. While popular media often focuses on the glowing rivers of molten lava consuming everything in their path, a far more insidious threat lingers in the winds. This is the volcanic ash cloud, a gray veil that can travel thousands of miles. To the naked eye, it looks like soft, harmless smoke or fallen snow. However, under a microscope, the true nature of this substance is revealed. It is not the product of combustion like wood ash. It is pulverized rock, minerals, and volcanic glass. When these elements interact with the most sensitive part of human anatomy, the respiratory system, they trigger a biological crisis known colloquially as the breath of the devil. Understanding how the human lung attempts and fails to process these minerals is a journey into the limits of human survival. To understand the danger, one must first understand the composition of the enemy. Volcanic ash is created when gases under extreme pressure explode through molten rock. This process shatters the rock into particles smaller than 2 millimeters, with many being less than 10 micrometers in diameter. These sharp, hard, and chemically potent particles consist of silica, or silicon dioxide, which is the primary component of glass. When an individual inhales in an ash-heavy environment, these microscopic glass daggers bypass the natural filters of the nose and throat. They descend deep into the bronchioles and eventually settle in the alveoli, the tiny air sacs where oxygen enters the bloodstream. The physical presence of these shards is the first stage of the trauma. Unlike organic dust, which the body can often break down with enzymes, silica is indestructible to the human immune system. The sharp edges of the ash particles slice into the delicate cellular membranes of the lung lining. This causes immediate inflammation and localized bleeding. The body, sensing an invader, sends macrophages, white blood cells designed to eat and digest foreign matter, to the site. However, when the macrophages attempt to consume the volcanic glass, the glass punctures the cells from the inside out, killing the defenders and releasing toxic enzymes that further damage the surrounding lung tissue. The most horrifying aspect of volcanic ash inhalation is the chemical reaction that occurs within the moist environment of the lungs. The respiratory tract is naturally coated in mucus and surfactant, fluids essential for keeping the lungs flexible and clear. When the fine, parched dust of volcanic ash meets this moisture, it behaves like an industrial binding agent. The ash absorbs the fluid and begins to thicken. Because the ash contains high concentrations of minerals like calcium and magnesium alongside the silica, it mimics the setting process of quick-drying cement or plaster. As the patient continues to breathe, more ash is introduced and the existing paste begins to harden. This biological cement fills the alveoli, effectively sealing them off. Oxygen can no longer pass through the hardened layers into the blood. The lungs lose their elasticity, a condition known as decreased pulmonary compliance. The victim must work harder and harder to pull air into a chest that feels like it is being wrapped in a tightening corset of stone. This is not a simple blockage. It is a structural change where the soft tissue of the lung is replaced by a mineral matrix. As the respiratory system fails, the rest of the body begins to succumb to hypoxia, the lack of oxygen. The heart beats faster, trying to pump the dwindling supply of oxygenated blood to the brain and vital organs. This puts immense strain on the cardiovascular system. Simultaneously, the chemical composition of the ash begins to leak into the bloodstream. Many volcanic plumes contain traces of fluorine and other toxic elements. When these are absorbed through the damaged lung tissue, they can lead to systemic poisoning, affecting bone density and kidney function. In the height of the crisis, the patient experiences a sensation of drowning while standing on dry land. The coughs produced are unproductive because the material is too heavy and too firmly lodged to be expelled. Every effort to clear the throat only causes more micro tears in the tissue. In historical eruptions, such as the catastrophic events in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius or the modern eruptions in the Ring of Fire, this process has claimed lives far from the reach of the heat or the lava. It is a slow, silent suffocation that turns the very air into a weapon. The threat of the breath of the devil serves as a grim reminder of human vulnerability in the face of planetary forces. The lungs, designed for the ethereal task of processing gas, are no match for the geological weight of the Earth's interior. While modern medicine has developed advanced filtration and intensive care techniques, the fundamental physics of ash inhalation remains a challenge. The hardening of the lungs is a process that is difficult to reverse once it has reached a critical mass. However, through the study of these biological impacts, scientists and disaster response teams have improved early warning systems and protective measures. The use of high-grade respirators and the rapid evacuation of downwind areas are the only true defenses against this stony fate. We are reminded that the Earth is not a static stage, but a dynamic, often violent entity. To survive upon it, one must respect the invisible dangers that ride the wind. The story of the glass lungs is a testament to the fragility of life and the overwhelming, uncompromising power of the world beneath our feet.